Sherry Sangji, a young research associate, died of severe burns from a chemical lab fire at UCLA nearly 4 years ago. She was only 23.
Sherry was working in a laboratory in one of the largest and most prestigious universities in the world, and there should be no safer place for someone to go to work.
Sangji was working for Patrick Harran, a highly recruited, hard-charging professor in the chemistry department. On December 29, 2008, Sangji was here in Harran's lab. She was working with this bottle of T-butyllithium, a highly volatile chemical that ignites when simply exposed to air. In a flash, she caught on fire. Sangji was transferring the chemical using a syringe and had accidentally pulled out the plunger.
When I arrived at the hospital, almost 50% of her body was severely burned. Her hands were burned down all the way to tendon. Her abdominal wall had been burnt off. She had third-degree burns to her neck.
She died 18 days later. Investigators from the State Occupational Health and Safety Agency, Cal OSHA, questioned Professor Harran in a deposition obtained exclusively for this report.
When Sherry arrived, do you know if she received any general lab safety training from the university?
I don't believe she received generalized safety training. I believe my assistant was told that it was not offered for her category per se.
They determined that Sherry Sangji had not been taught how to work safely with the dangerous chemical.
Did you ever discuss the characteristics of T-butyllithium with Sherry?
No, not of T-butyllithium specifically, no.
Did you have any fire-resistant clothing available for employees to use when handling T-butyllithium?
Not fire-resistant clothing, no.
Based on Cal OSHA findings, Professor Harran is facing 3 felony counts. It's the first time a professor in the United States has been charged with a felony for the workplace death of an employee.
We're trying to send a clear message not only to the employers, but also to the industry generally, that this behavior will not be tolerated.
Ellen Wides oversees Cal OSHA and its Bureau of Investigations, which is empowered to build criminal cases and recommend felony charges.
Making criminal referrals is absolutely important for those kinds of cases where there is such employer culpability and the injuries serious. In most states, penalties are so minimal that they do become a cost of doing business.
Nationally, causing a workplace death or serious injury is at most a misdemeanor. California is taking a harder line. Professor Harran did not respond to interview requests, but he defended himself in a 2009 letter to the Los Angeles Times. Sherry was an experienced chemist and published researcher who exuded confidence and had performed this experiment before in my lab. Sherry's death resulted from a tragic accident. UCLA and the UC regents are also named in the felony complaint. They too declined to comment. But in a written statement, the UCLA chancellor vowed to support Professor Harran and fight what he called unwarranted criminal charges.
I think this is a landmark case.
Jim Kaufman is a leading lab safety expert.
This was a tsunami throughout academia, that criminal charges were being filed against the university. I think good things are going to come as a result of this, and that Sherry Sangji's death will not be in vain.
Since Sangji's death, UCLA has founded the Center for Laboratory Safety and says in this video that it will raise safety standards in academic labs.
Yeah, the chancellor's made it clear that he wants to see UCLA as best in class, and as a result of that, we're really putting a lot of energy and effort into sharing our experiences with other universities.
The university has paid Cal OSHA fines related to the Sangji accident and for other violations they uncovered. UCLA is contesting another fine for not reporting a previous lab accident that seriously burned a graduate student. The Harran case is being closely watched by lab workers at other California campuses, which have experienced at least 7 chemical accidents since Sherry Sangji's death. And it seems to be having an impact, according to the union that represents lab workers.
Before this case, it took us months and sometimes over a year to get any safety grievance fixed. Now it's don't bother filing a grievance, Nino. Just give me a call. Of course we want to do everything possible to ensure safety here at UCSF. They're afraid, and rightly so, justly so.
Meanwhile, Sherry's sister, Naveen Sangji, continues flying to Los Angeles from her home in Boston to attend every court hearing for Patrick Harran. She will be in court again tomorrow.
Incidents like these don't just happen. They happen because several processes are very wrong. Sherry should not have suffered that way.